Hello, everyone. Welcome to Down to Earth. This is a space for honest conversations around sustainability, community, climate, and everyday life as it should be. Today, I'm with Arnav Arora, who's a student at Carnegie Mellon University. Thank you so much for being here, Arnav. To start us off, how do you usually explain what you do to someone who has no idea about sustainability?
I mean, when it comes to the idea of sustainability in general, I think it's just about, in some sense, being intentional with the choices you make. It's about making small choices on a day-to-day basis that, in some sense, has an impact on the planet tomorrow. So I think when it comes to explaining the concept of sustainability, I always say it's about being intentional and it's about being, yeah, it's mainly about just being intentional with the choices that you make on a day-to-day basis. So yeah.
Absolutely. So, what does sustainability look like for you on a daily basis?
I think for me, it's just about making the right choices wherever you can. I think you don't have to start, you don't have to be super ambitious when it comes to this. You can even make like small choices on a day-to-day basis that can have an impact on the future. So I think it's just about being, in some sense, being cognizant and being aware of the impact that you're making with your choices, and then just sort of taking a step back and reflecting and seeing what you can do to make a better impact on the world today and tomorrow. So yeah.
Could you give us an example of some of those choices?
I mean, just basic stuff like just using like over there, I feel like a lot of people end up using plastic bottles. So just like basic stuff, like the most basic things are just roaming around with your own bottle instead of constantly like consuming plastic or just like having a tote bag or having like reusable bags instead of using plastic bags. It's like basic stuff like this that you don't think it'll actually end up making an impact, but it really does. So
That's true.
yeah.
I completely agree with you. So, what's one sustainable habit that you want to have, but you often struggle to maintain?
I think one thing that I do struggle to like sort of maintain and even build on is probably cutting down on plastic pollution. I feel like, or plastic consumption and plastic waste, because I feel like if you look at stuff that we consume and if you look at everything around us, it has plastic in some shape or form. So I
Hmm.
feel like something that I do struggle with is probably cutting down on plastic consumption and plastic waste because that is something that's detrimental for the environment because it ends up staying on like landfills on the floors of our planet for like a tremendously long period of time. So probably just cutting down on plastic pollution is something that I've tried to do in the past, even with the business that I started, but I feel like that's something that I struggle with as well.
Could you tell us a little bit more about your business?
Yeah, for sure. So in high school, I'd taken part in an entrepreneurship program and it was called YE. It was called Young Entrepreneurs Academy. It was a 6 month long program. And I'd launched a sustainable startup called ReplaceKits.co. And the whole idea or our whole tagline was to make goods or to make products eco-friendly and pocket-friendly.
Hmm.
So we noticed that the middle class of population of the country often don't end up buying sustainable products because of the price markup and because of how expensive it is. Like if you look at a plastic toothbrush as compared to a bamboo toothbrush, you'll probably get a plastic toothbrush for $100, but a bamboo toothbrush for like 300 or 400. So we try to bring the price barrier down. We try to get the middle class population of the country to sort of step in and purchase sustainable products. We started bundling stuff up. And our whole idea was to make stuff eco-friendly and pocket-friendly, and it was to sort of get the middle class population of the country to sort of enter into this market. And I mean, even if a small fragment of the population enters and starts making these conscious efforts to sort of bring down plastic pollution and to bring down plastic waste, it can make a world of difference. So yeah, that was the whole crux of what we did.
That's so wonderful. I mean, I think
Yeah.
currently, I think we are shifting into wooden toothbrushes, if I'm not wrong. Do you think that's
Yeah.
beneficial?
I think anything is better than plastic, to be honest. Anything apart from plastic, because plastic is honestly the enemy of the planet. So anything is better than plastic.
I completely agree. I completely
Yeah.
agree. So, what's one compromise that you've personally had to make or to choose like sustainability over convenience?
Um, I think in this case, you could probably just talk about sustainability. I think probably just like transportation could be one good example of this. I feel like choosing to walk around rather than like taking a car everywhere, especially I feel
Hmm.
like in India, even small distances. I mean, a factor for that is because how hard like India is not a walkable country, and even Mumbai especially is not a walkable city. But like even small distances, you just end up taking a rickshaw, or you just end up like taking your car out. I feel like
Hmm.
making the conscious effort to walk because I feel like another big factor when it comes to pollution in general is our cars and the amount of pollution that they emit. So just making like the effort to walk around is something that should happen a lot more, but doesn't tend to happen because of, I mean, people are just so accustomed to just even small distances like half a kilometer or a kilometer,
Hmm.
people just end up taking the car out. So I feel like that's something that I'm guilty of doing as well. So yeah.
Honestly, with the amount of construction going on, I think it's fine. I really think it's
Yeah, that is true as well. Yeah.
fine. True. So, if you were to start college again tomorrow, what is one habit that you will build for day one, from day one?
Is this in terms of sustainability or like in general?
I think tell us both.
I think in general, because now I'm in my third year,
Mm-hmm.
so I think in general, I'd probably just like be more adventurous in some sense. I just say yes to stuff because it's like a big shift. It's a
Of course.
completely new experience. It sort of opens your eyes up to so many different things. So I just like, I was a bit trapped initially. I'd say like I was not as, like, I wouldn't explore things as much as my like other colleagues and stuff, other peers and stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if I could give one advice to myself or to anyone who's entering right now, I'd probably just say to be more adventurous and to just like take new challenges up and stuff.
Nice. That's really good. Do you think that's because of the university as well, or just
I
like?
think so. It could be because of that. I feel like it could be both, to be honest. I feel like the way I've been brought up, that could be one thing, or it could also be the university. But I don't think I explored initially as much as I should have.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And in terms of sustainability?
A habit that I like to build on. I feel like one thing that I've noticed, which sort of pains me every time I see it, is that everyone who I see walking around on campus is usually has a plastic bottle in their hand, and
Mm-hmm.
even my roommates, they just end up ordering plastic bottles, like because there's a big thing with like lead and water over there. So I feel like no one over there uses water filters. So I feel like something that I would sort of encourage people to do is just like it's so basic, it's so trivial, but just like roam around with your own bottle and use water filters as much as you can.
And
Because
that's
plastic bottles, I mean, it's 500 ml, you'll use it once and then you'll end up throwing it and then it just stays there forever. So just like making the conscious effort of just like using your own bottle everywhere would make a big impact. So
yeah.
yeah.
I completely understand.
And
So
it's something so basic too. Like when I say it, I feel embarrassed because it's something so basic, but like people just don't end up following it.
that's true. I completely agree. I mean, there has been a conscious shift, but then like from there was in the middle, I think when I was in around the fifth or sixth grade, there was this entire shift from plastic to metal because of cancer and stuff like that.
Yeah,
But people are shifting back to especially those Nike bottles that you get, like
yeah,
the rubber ones, rubber and plastic ones.
yeah,
I don't know how to
yeah,
describe them, but those
yeah. I get what you're
especially.
saying.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's really bad. I completely agree. I
yeah,
mean, some of those particles go in your mouth also. It's damn unhygienic.
exactly. Yeah,
I
yeah.
completely agree. So this is a little bit out of picture, but what is one difference do you like see between Mumbai and US that, for example, in terms of the way of living or sustainability or the environment, like any difference that you think, but maybe the people, the activities that they carry out, or just in general?
I feel like one big difference would probably be the amount of, I mean, pollution is always something that you'll get over here, but like the roads over here, because I recently shifted to Juhu and now we're staying on the main road, and the amount of noise that's constantly just out there, people honking, this, that, and the other. And there's the construction work that you spoke about, it's
Yeah.
everywhere, to be honest. And it just doesn't seem to be slowing down. So I feel like one big thing is probably just the amount of all sorts of pollution, noise pollution, dust pollution. It's just a sad state of affairs. Something needs to change, but I don't think it'll happen anytime soon.
I mean, I was saying that because since elections are coming up, so I'd hope then it can get better. I mean, I myself stay in Juhu as well, and these
Yeah,
3 lanes of mine have been under construction since over 2 months now, and it's a pain.
it's very bad. Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, lastly, what advice would you
Mhm.
give to students like me, for example, who want to live more sustainability but feel limited by time or money?
I feel like you should just start somewhere and start. I mean, even starting small is okay, but just start somewhere. I mean, that's the best advice I could probably give to anyone in this space. Just start somewhere, and even the smallest decision or even the smallest change in like from going from one thing to another can make a big difference. So just start somewhere. I don't think, I mean, it is. I mean, when it comes to like expensive and like being, what was the other thing? Expensive and you said another part of it. So yeah, I missed that part. You
With
said that sustainability is expensive and
oh, time
what was
and
the
money.
question? Yes, in terms of it being time
Mhm.
intensive and expensive, that is one thing, but then you also have to sort of take into account if you keep on living that way, what impact would it have on the future generations? If you sort of think about it in that way, it sort of puts a lot of stuff into perspective and makes you realize that, oh, you're doing this right now. It is a bit more expensive and it is a bit more time intensive, but think about how it would impact like the future generations and the progeny of our the country and stuff like that. So yeah.
Absolutely. Do you think education also plays a role in this case about sustainability or the
Oh,
environment?
100%. Yeah, I feel like this is something that should sort of be inculcated in the curriculum at an early stage. I feel like in India, civic sense is something that no one seems to like. People just like
At
don't
all.
seem to bother at all. So I feel like that is something that should sort of be taught at an early age to people, so that as they grow up, then they can even sort of teach their parents and teach their grandparents about how to live that way. Because I feel like that's something that's sort of completely been neglected in the older generations, but the newer, I think the younger generation is being a lot more aware and a lot more mindful of the choices that they make. So I feel like that is definitely something that should be introduced in like schools, and there should be workshops and stuff that educate people about this.
Absolutely. I completely
Yeah.
agree. I think that
Mhm.
wraps it up for today. Thank you so much for
Yeah.
your time and for sharing your experiences so honestly. This conversation really shows that actually sustainability isn't about being perfect, but just about being conscious and consistent. But
Exactly. Yeah.
to everyone listening, thank you for tuning in. If this conversation made you think, question, or even disagree, that's kind of the point. So we'll see you in the next episode.